In just 5 years, Microsoft spent over $289 million trying to challenge Apple's iPod, and ended up with warehouses full of unsold Zunes and a permanent spot on every biggest tech flops list. The year is 2006. The digital music revolution is in full swing. Apple's iPod reigns supreme, but Microsoft, the world's most powerful software company, sees an opportunity. Their vision? Build an iPod killer that not only captures the MP3 player market, but creates a new digital lifestyle. The Zune was supposed to solve the hassle of closed music ecosystems, offer seamless sharing, and make Microsoft cool to a new generation. Analysts buzzed about a future where Zune earned a 20% share of the market by 2008. Nobody doubted Microsoft had the muscle. Microsoft already dominated the PC world and had the war chest to buy, build, or bulldoze their way in. After all, this was the company that crushed Netscape, dominated Office software, and made Bill Gates the world's richest man. With the Xbox's success still fresh, who would bet against Redmond pulling off another coup? The media hype was palpable. Wired hailed Zune as a player that could shake up Apple's monopoly. Music partnerships were teased. Leaked rumors generated a fever pitch. Even rapper Common and musician Jay-Z appeared at promotional events. In late 2006, with the tech press and Microsoft loyalists drooling, anticipation hit a tipping point. Was this the dawn of Apple's downfall? The Zune's launch event was classic Microsoft flash. Big venue, blaring music, celebrity DJs hyping up sleek devices in brown, black, and white. Price tag? $249, the same as the 30GB iPod. With a 3-inch screen, wireless sharing, promised as game-changing, and an exclusive Zune Marketplace. Microsoft bet big on features Apple hadn't yet adopted. "Welcome to the social," the slogan blared. A new digital music tribe, handpicked by Microsoft. But reviews were mixed. Early tech writers complained about a clunky user interface, confusing controls, and most damningly, a brown color option, described by Engadget as deliberately ugly. Still, curious early adopters lined up, tempted by the Wi-Fi sharing gimmick and the Microsoft badge. The Verge later recalled the launch with the backhanded compliment: surprisingly ambitious, utterly naive. At first, Microsoft claimed healthy initial shipments, over 1 million Zunes by mid-2007, but actual sell-through was weak. Apple sold 10 iPods for every Zune. Within 6 months, Zune's market share limped along at 3%. Retailers quietly pushed unsold units to bargain bins. The iPod's dominance didn't budge. Reality soon crashed the Zune party. Owners found that Wi-Fi music sharing was crippled by DRM. Shared songs expired after 3 days or 3 plays. The exclusive Zune Marketplace didn't work on Mac. Syncing required clunky software. Customization was nearly non-existent, and accessory support dismal. But the most glaring mistake, Microsoft's cultural blind spot. Zune's ad campaign targeted a cool crowd, but came off awkward, sometimes even desperate. As one reviewer joked, Zune was like your dad showing up at a college party. On top of that, a bewildering decision to launch a brown variation instantly became meme fodder. Even Steve Jobs mocked it on stage. Zune's feature set was a step behind Apple. No video store, no apps, no ecosystem. While Apple innovated, Microsoft played catch-up. Apple responded by slashing iPod prices, launching the iPod Touch, and opening the App Store. Meanwhile, Microsoft's tactics, like the Zune Pass music subscription, either failed to catch on or arrived years before audiences were ready. Microsoft never had the cultural cachet to make Zune aspirational the way Apple did for the iPod. As sales sputtered, Zune became an internet punchline. Parodies flooded YouTube. Bloggers called it the Edsel of MP3 players. In the most brutal moment, a joke circulated: if you spot a Zune in someone's home, check for a DeLorean in the driveway. Desperate to salvage the brand, Microsoft slashed prices, rolled out Zune 2.0 with little impact, and poured money into fresh ads, once comparing Zune's sharing feature to something magical. None of it moved the needle. Zune HD, a slicker model in 2009, received critical praise but arrived too late, as smartphones were now eating the iPod's lunch. Inside Microsoft, frustration mounted. Key executives left. Morale dropped. By 2010, many inside the company openly questioned if Zune was worth saving. Leaked memos revealed management was shifting focus away from hardware and towards integrating Zune software with Windows Phone. The white flag was flying. In October 2011, Microsoft quietly announced the end. Zune hardware would be discontinued. Unsold stock was written off, and the Zune Marketplace shuttered a few years later. Microsoft tried to bury the news, issuing only a bland support article. The iPod killer had died a silent death. The cost? Over $289 million reportedly lost, not counting opportunity costs or the blow to Microsoft's cool factor. Engineers and marketers were reassigned. Layoffs followed. Worse, Zune's flop undermined Microsoft's image as an innovator, just as mobile was starting to eat the world. At its core, Zune failed because Microsoft mistook money and product features for cultural connection and design sensibility. They entered a war 5 years late, underestimated Apple's power, and ignored the user experience. Zune was engineered, not inspired. The Wi-Fi sharing was fatally limited. The ecosystem was incomplete. The marketing out of touch. Microsoft's own research whispered warnings from the start. iPod users were fiercely loyal. Accessory partners shied away, and Zune's DRM was a nightmare. But hubris and fear of missing the next big thing drowned out the signal. When Apple mocked Zune's brown color, the laughter went viral. But Redmond doubled down. Meanwhile, Apple evolved. The iPod suite expanded. The App Store unleashed an ecosystem. And then the iPhone changed everything. Google's Android carved out its own share. Zune never stood a chance. Today, the Zune is a collector's punchline, a cautionary tale of corporate hubris. Yet, some innovations, like the Zune Pass, foreshadowed Spotify's model. Microsoft did eventually learn. Today, its Surface line, Xbox, and cloud business show a humbler, more iterative approach. The Zune disaster teaches a brutal business truth. Tech is as much about emotion, timing, and ecosystem as it is about hardware. You can't buy cool or loyalty. You build it, risk by risk, one wow moment at a time. If you're a founder dreaming of taking down the current kings, remember, a fat budget and good specs won't matter without soul and timing. Just look at the graveyard of so-called killers, from Zune to Windows Phone, and countless more. What do you think is more important in tech? Raw specs, design, or emotional brand connection? Did you ever own a Zune, or were you always Team iPod? In the end, Microsoft Zune is more than a failure. It's a warning. Markets are made by dreams, not spreadsheets, and disruption waits for no one. Next time you hear about an ex-killer, ask yourself, is it bravado or a real revolution? Stay tuned as we dive into the next notorious flop, Google Glass, the sci-fi gadget that fizzled out in painfully public fashion.